The United States is once again standing at a moment of intense political pressure, where a single incident on the streets of a major American city has collided with a high-stakes battle in Washington, threatening to shut down the federal government. This story begins not inside the Capitol, but in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where a controversial federal law enforcement shooting triggered nationwide outrage and quickly escalated into a full-blown political crisis. What followed was not just public anger or protest enforcement, government funding, and the future of federal power in America. To understand why this moment matters so deeply, we need to look at how these events unfolded and why they are reshaping the political landscape of the United States. In late January, a federal immigration enforcement operation in Minneapolis turned deadly when federal agents shot and killed a man during an encounter that remains heavily disputed. Federal officials claimed that the individual posed a threat and that agents acted in self-defense during a tense confrontation. However, eyewitness accounts and circulating video footage appeared to show a different sequence of events, suggesting that the man was restrained at the time shots were fired. Almost immediately, the incident sparked public outrage in Minneapolis, a city already marked by deep sensitivity to police and federal law enforcement actions due to its recent history. Protests erupted despite freezing winter temperatures, with demonstrators demanding accountability, transparency, and an independent investigation into the conduct of federal agents operating in the city. Local leaders, including city officials and state authorities, expressed serious concerns over how This moment raised deeper questions about governance in modern America. How much power should federal agencies have when operating within cities that oppose their methods? Who is responsible when federal and local authorities clash? And how should Congress balance the need to fund government operations with its responsibility to oversee and restrain executive power? These questions do not have easy answers, but the Minneapolis shooting forced them into the spotlight. Public reaction across the country reflected a nation deeply divided. Some Americans saw the congressional standoff as a necessary stand against abuse of power, believing that real reform only happens when lawmakers are willing to take risks. Others viewed it as reckless brinkmanship, arguing that shutting down the government over a single incident could create more harm than good. Social media amplified both sides, turning the debate into a broader cultural conflict over law enforcement, immigration, and political responsibility. As negotiations continued behind closed doors, the future remained uncertain. Lawmakers faced immense pressure from activists, party leaders, and constituents, all demanding different outcomes. The White House urged compromise, warning that a shutdown would hurt everyday Americans more than politicians. Yet with trust eroding and emotions running high, compromise proved difficult. In the end, this crisis illustrated how interconnected modern American politics has become. A single encounter on a city street can ripple outward, influencing national policy, congressional strategy, and global perceptions of U.S. stability. The Minneapolis shooting was no longer just a local tragedy. It had become a symbol of broader tensions surrounding federal authority, civil liberties, and political polarization. As the shutdown deadline approached, one thing was clear: whatever decision Congress made would carry lasting consequences. Approving the funding without changes risked inflaming public anger and deepening mistrust in government institutions. Blocking the bill risked economic disruption and further damage to America's political credibility. The choice before lawmakers was not simply about money, but about values, accountability, and the future direction of the country. This moment represents a crossroads for the United States. It reveals a nation struggling to reconcile security with justice, authority with accountability, and political power with public trust. Whether this crisis ends in compromise or confrontation, it will be remembered as a defining episode in America's ongoing struggle to govern itself in an era of deep division. The world is watching, and the outcome will shape not only U.S. politics, but also how America is perceived on the global stage in the years to come.